picture of him with a girl, the girl's smiling. I'm like, he's flirting with every girl, but then when he gets on the arguably already like on his way to becoming the greatest baseball player of all time.
Gonna do something today. And he'd just look and he'd smile and he'd just kind of nod his head. So whether that
and then Shohei just comes out of nowhere. He just walks up to me. He goes like this. And I was like, that, at the point, he was just like the nicest human being in that 3 seconds.
Matt, nice to meet you, Shohei.
Otani, like, I don't know what, I mean, these guy's a unicorn. I'm just curious, like, what is it like in the clubhouse? He hurts his shoulder. Are you guys like, oh shit, you know? Like,
well, I think the story's been told of the text he sent to the group of like, it was, I don't remember what it was verbatim. It was like, you know, in 2020, Bellinger hurt his shoulder and he came back this year. Like, it'll be me. Like, I'll be fine. And and we were all flying. We were getting on the plane to fly to New York. Had just won the first two. And we were all going to go out to dinner that night. We knew he wasn't going to be there, but it was one of those, like, we knew Show was going to be fine.
Right.
We didn't know how fine he was going to be.
Right.
But I mean, day to day, like, Show is Show. He's not, like, I don't mean that like he's like Showtime or anything. He just is like a pretty much like a regular dude.
Yeah.
Gets on the bus, like, and I think he just gets on the bus, sits there, reads his comics, chills, like, hangs out, does what he does, reads his comics sitting in his chair, goes about his business, goes about his work. Got a smile on his face whenever you see him. And he's just not big time at all. Like, we had a couple instances where we're on whether it was a bus ride, like, to the stadium or leaving, or we're leaving the stadium to go to the plane, and you know, you've got there's certain guys that have their own seat
right
on the bus.
Yeah.
And Yamamoto was one of the last guys on. This happened a couple times. And, you know, you've got guys offering up their seats, and then he goes and sits next to Shohei, and Shohei doesn't. He's like, Shohei's much bigger than Yama.
Big dude.
Like, much bigger. And he's just sitting on the inside, or on the inside next to the window, and Yama's got the whole aisle and everything. And that's just like, for me, that depicts like who he is, where he's just like, whatever, like, it's not a big deal to him. You'd have a bunch of other guys with big egos that would do that. And then it was also pretty cool to say that there was $1 billion sitting in 2 seats right there.
Dude,
like, legitimately.
Were you there when Reggie threw the first pitch? Were you on the team yet?
No.
He was super excited to meet you, Otani, right?
Well, he had no. So I tell this because I met him and I was like, I became like a fanboy because So Reggie was throwing, it was right after he got his Heisman back. So he was throwing the first pitch for the Dodgers. I caught it in full catcher's gear.
Nice.
I was down in the clubhouse. So I got to know Mookie a little bit and some of those guys. And I'm down there, and Walker had walked by me. I'm full geared helmet, getting ready to stuff. I'll show you a video after. And I'm talking to Mookie. He's like, dude, what the fuck you doing here? I said, yo, I'm catching Reggie's first pitch out there. This was like 5 minutes before, you know. He's like, oh, I'm gonna come watch that. And then Walker goes by. And then Shohei just comes out of nowhere. He just walks up to me. He goes like this. And I was like, that, literally out of nowhere. I was like, he had no clue who I was. He was, but to your point, he was just like the nicest human being in that 3 seconds. And I looked at the camera. I'm like, I'll show you Otani. It was like the coolest moment ever, man. And then I caught out there lefty catcher.
Did you catch it?
Yeah, but Reggie threw a cheese ball. Nah, he threw when it was high, but
okay, good.
Getting ready to come out the Dodgers dugout, and I'm going to catch the first pitch of the Dodger game thrown by my boy Reggie Bush. I'm getting a little nervous now, I'm not going to lie. I'm a lifelong Dodger, bleed Dodger blue, love the Dodgers, everything about it. My dad, my brother, myself, our kids. But this is pretty cool because I'm going full uni and I'm going full catcher's gear. I should have done some squats. I'm catching Reggie. Yeah, he doesn't know. What's up, brother? Good to see you too, man. Everything good? I'm a little nervous, bro. Weird. Well, I was baseball, but I never catcher. Keep it off. Better photo op. How you doing? Matt, nice to meet you, Shohei. Yeah. Good luck tonight. That's pretty awesome. Number 11, Matt Leinart. Let's go, baby! Come on, baby!
What? You guys ready?
They're gonna figure it out on the field.
Well, especially when you get four guys who have MVPs and Mookie, Freddie, Shohei, and Kersh. You get all of them in a room. You get these guys with huge contracts and everything, and thinking there's gonna be huge egos all around. And coming over there, I didn't really expect it because I've known Mookie a little bit. I've heard great things about Freddie from Max, who had played with him. I heard about Shohei from Giolito, who played with him, and known Kersh a little bit. Like, you just didn't expect any of that to be the case. Nobody was above anybody else. It was from top to bottom. Everybody was the same, other than, you get your certain rookie duties and that certain guys have to do. But it was that's as close knit as I've seen.
Well,
Incredible.
I gotta ask another Dodgers question. Otani, he can speak English, right? Like great English.
Great English.
Yeah, it's like
He's as normal
every
as
time
they
I
come.
see a picture of him with a girl, the girl's smiling. I'm like, he's flirting with every girl, but then when he gets on the the interviews, post game interviews, he's just looking at his translator. I'm like,
yes, it is easier to have the translator there because there's a lot of questions coming at him and whatnot, and I'm sure he understands it, but it's more like, I want to make sure I say the right things, so I'd rather do it in Japanese. But to us, like, I mean, I came over and we were able to like have conversations, especially baseball or just BS, and he speaks a pretty good amount of English, which just goes to the work that he's done and in his time since he's been here. And that goes for same with a lot of the Latin players. They go through English classes, and it's impressive like that they're able to do that and learn that much English.
He just learned how to say blacked out.
I mean, he probably said it to me at some point.
so he obviously is arguably already like on his way to becoming the greatest baseball player of all time. What makes him so special? Like, you've been around some really good players, you know what I mean? What makes him so much more special than everyone else you've been around?
Well, he's as big of an icon as it gets. Like, he's like, for me, he's on the level of the guys in the NBA and in the NFL, those top end guys. Like, I know he hasn't accomplished what like LeBron has over his career or what Mahomes has, but when you look at his impact in Japan, like, and just hearing from Lars Nootbaar going through the WBC last year and what he was able to do and the amount of attention that's on him and the amount of exposure that he has, the amount of cameras that are always in his face following him around. But the fact that he's still able to go out and perform and never seem like he's nervous or never seems like he's ever going to go into a slump or you don't see him get frustrated. And I think that's crazy to me that I didn't see him like really get frustrated or carry an at bat with him one to the next, because I could always look at him before he would go out there, and whether it bothered him or not, I don't know, but he was cool about it. And he could be 0 for 3 and we're going to the 8th inning, maybe we're winning or tied, and I'd kind of just look at him and be like, Sho, when are you going to do something today? And he'd just look and he'd smile and he'd just kind of nod his head. So whether that was I hate you right now or okay, like I got you, just watch. And then he'd go out and do something incredible. And
it was crazy. The numbers that he had hitting with runners in scoring position and runners on base it was incredible. At one point I looked up and I was like, that looks like a free throw percentage of a great shooter.
It was unbelievable. He was like 18 of 22 with runners on base, which is incredible. What he was able to do at the plate this year while still rehabbing and getting his throwing in and doing everything. Like,
yeah,
that's incredible.